afternoon, good evening, good morning, good morning, folks. This is Male Always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bottom and Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, this is my first interview for the week and for December. Can you believe it? We just got another, I think this is the seventh day, full week. We got another 18 more days of Christmas. Thank God I don't have kids. Thank God that my niece and nephews are grown. They have kids, and I
Yes.
don't buy nothing for them. I haven't put up a tree. I mean, that was the thing. My mom used to love that, but now she's gone, so I don't really think about it. So,
Yeah.
folks, as a content maker, I love reaching out to people who are in the sport of bodybuilding, their stories, how they got into the sport. And we have this lovely lady like here. She competed just last weekend at the Masters USA Championship, and she didn't get a pro card, but you never know. Like I said, there is another show in next weekend that is the national. So we'd like to welcome the lovely Mrs. Christina Sutton, and we'd like to appreciate the time she's given us to share her story, and also just to see what's her plans for us. Just saw they dropped the list for the some of the pro shows for next year, and we'll see what she's going to plan on for the next upcoming future. So welcome, ma'am. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to. So, ma'am, share with us what got you started, as I call it, this sport of muscle and masculinity. Please share.
Yes. So it was about 2020. I was a little overweight. I wanted to try something different. I did like a New Year's Eve challenge. Lost like 20 pounds, and I thought, well, if I could lose 20 pounds, I can try and get on the stage. Um, COVID hit. And I couldn't compete that first year, waited a year, and then did the NPC Midwest in St. Louis. I've done that show twice already and won the overall in figure my first year. Went straight to nationals from there. I've been sitting at nationals since my first year in 2021. And I also won the physique overall last year as well as figure. But physique is where my heart is, and that's where I want to stay. So the NPC Masters, I did do figure and I did do physique, but I'm just going to stay with physique for now. I'm a bit of a bigger build of a girl, and that's okay. So we're just going to stick with physique for now. But that's how I got started. It was just kind of like a New Year's Eve challenge, and won my first show, and I've been sitting at national since 2021.
Yeah, 2020 was crazy. I mean, that was the year my mother passed because she had gotten the virus. And also, I really started getting more into my content because it was something that was helping me with while I was taking care of her because she was sick for a long time. And learning about you ladies and your stories is just really, really interesting me because one of my crime is I'm gonna make it Christina. I'm a muscle pair smile. I love y'all ladies.
Yeah.
Your physiques are just beautiful. But doing this content, I get to learn so much about you. So you were overweight, like I can say about being that because I'm still a big dude. And what was that experience like the first time we started competing?
I will say my husband competed with me that first year, so I wouldn't feel so alone. So I felt very comforted having him there. But I will tell you, Tyler Mannion was my first judge ever, which is terrifying. It's terrifying to know he's sitting there watching you, but winning that first show kind of like sparked that flame for me, and I knew that this was something I wanted to continue doing. I love being on stage, and I love trying to get bigger every year, and it's a passion of mine. And my coach, Brooke Walker, who's been to the Olympia the past few years, she's amazing, and she's helping me reach my goals, and I love her to death. So it's been a great journey so far.
That's a legend, Brooke Walker. I think she's a beautiful physique. Top three competitor the last couple of Olympias. I mean, I know she took a break because of personal reasons. I hope she do come back. I think she has a great physique, a great look to her. And how long you and Brooke know each other? How long you have been working together?
So I met Brooke because she used to be a like a stage handler for Ann Tatone and Jack Tatone for their shows for the NPC Midwest, and I met her during one of those shows, and it was an instant like connection. Like I knew I had to work with this woman, and that was probably back in 2022 when or 2021 when she had qualified for her first Olympia is when I met her, and so we've been friends since then, but she just took over my coaching last year, and it's been great. It's been
Now, who,
wonderful.
who was your coach you worked with before?
My coach before was Justin Harris, and he's with Troponin Nutrition. Great man. he got me to where I needed to be those first couple years. He did a great job. I thought maybe kind of changing the way I worked out and changing my food would kind of get me to where I needed to be, and that's where Brooke came in. But he was a great coach. Just kind of I was kind of moving on to different things last year, but he's an awesome person.
That's good. Sometimes people talk about how some relationship with coaches will start off pretty good, and then as you evolve as a competitor, things change, your body changes, especially for women, and you have to find the right person to work with you. Brooke being a Olympian level competitor like she is, I think that's a good combination for you.
Yeah, being a woman and knowing that my body has hormonal changes and there's certain things that I need from a woman's perspective. Brooke has really stepped up to that, and she's been able to really changed my look this year. Everything was bigger, everything was fuller. Her peak week plan was unbelievable. And I came in the best I've ever come in this past year. Um, so I was very happy with the look for sure.
hmm Now, what was your first show? And you said you and your husband were together. What's that first show y'all were together? And what was that experience like for you and both of you?
So the first show we did together was the NPC USA Masters last weekend. That was our very first show together. Was a national level show. She jumped right in. She had to kind of learn my body pretty quickly because I met her and we went into prep shortly after that. And it was a 20-week prep. It was pretty long. But that was our first show together, and she handled everything from the couple months of off season we had together to all of my prep, all of my cardio, all of my food, posing, I mean, down to the minute. And she is unbelievable, an unbelievable coach. I'm very fortunate to have her. Um, I will tell you the best part about it was getting a little bit of vodka before I went on stage. And that was amazing. That I was so relaxed by the time I got up there. I was like, yes, this is fantastic. So it was a great prep. It was my hardest prep ever was this past one. She really pushed me to my limits this year. But we carved out an amazing package for sure.
You're not the first person told me that they got a little tips before they did a show. I mean, you take that one sip, it's
Oh,
be ready.
I got so buzzed so quick I can't even tell you because I hadn't had a drink in 5 months. And so it was like my first time ever having a drink ever.
What was the spirits that you choose to drink that day?
Tito's. We did Tito's vodka, and it was amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was like chef's kiss.
What about your husband? What's your husband's name? Was he also taking a little sip?
Oh yeah, he was drinking, sitting there drinking whiskey right next to me because that's his choice of drink, and so he just kind of he rolls with the flow. I'm very fortunate to have a husband that cooks my food, gets the hotels booked, books our flights for these shows, makes sure everything's in place for me so that I can be successful. So I'm very fortunate to have him for
And
sure.
what's his name? How long y'all been together?
Me and Marty have been together probably since the 90s. We met in Boca Raton many years ago in Florida, and we just kind of been together ever since. And he's been along for this whole journey of mine. And I've only been a competitor for, the past 3 or 4 years. It hasn't been very long for me at all. I'm a newbie, and you always have the hopes that you're going to do your first show and then go right to nationals and get the pro card real quick. And everyone has that, in their mind that that's possible. And I've tried a couple times and just not there yet. But God willing, this year is going to be a good year for me too.
Well, as long as I've been following bodybuilding, I know some ladies who competed for a long time before they get their pro card. Some ladies competed 20 years as pro amateurs
Mhm.
before they became pros. And it's tough. It's not as easy as I think it is. Here, this is the mindset of most everyday people about bodybuilding. All you gotta take is 6 steroids, you pump up, and that's it. That's all you need. No, there's more to this because you have, like I said, your training, your regiment, you your work you got to put in, the time. You have to be consistent. And also, you have to be persistent also because it's tough, especially for women because we're men and women are built different. Men.
Yes.
I often say this: men's purpose in life is to breed and die. That's it. It's like Conan says, "To crush your enemies, seem to for you, and hit the lamination of the women." So that's it. And y'all women are supposed to be our nurturers and I take care of our babies at home, but
Yeah.
Women have been doing bodybuilding for quite some time. We have here one of my followers, my man, my brother. Shout out to my man Lawrence Perkins coming through. He says, "Good afternoon, Chris and George. Happy Saturday. Thank you, brother, for coming through. We dropping that. Also, folks, if you want to follow um, Christina, her link is in the live stream. But guys, I have rules, and this is my rule, and there's no offense to you, Christina, guys. No D pics. Stop it. Sit
Please
the
don't.
hell. She has a husband. I don't want to hear him be like, Marty said. Marty just went off one time. He just saw this guy. He said, "Hey, what are you saying to my wife for?" So now that you did the Masters USA Championship,
Mhm.
what was the critique from the judges, and what was your placing?
So I actually won 45 and up in women's physique. I won 40 and up in women's physique. I placed second in 45 figure, and I placed fifth in 40 and up in figure. I talked to Sandy last week, and she said that I wasn't symmetrical enough. So I'm a hard gainer on top, so I get real big on top. I get real lean on top. My legs are not big enough to match my top. So that's going to be the focus this year is a lot more legs. My legs just don't grow as fast as I'd like them to, but we're pushing. They've doubled in size for my first year of competing, so they're bigger than they were before. But that was the judges' feedback. The girl that did win, Kara, I believe her name was,
Kara Barnes, yeah.
yes, and she looked amazing, perfectly symmetrical, and by looking at her, I could kind of tell what they were saying to me. Her top matched her bottom, and so I got that, and so that's what our focus is going to be this year.
Yeah, I follow Carol Barnes. First, she was really, really, really working hard in this prep. She went through a lot. I gotta respect that. Couple ladies, I also one lady I interviewed a while back, Candy. She competed in women's bodybuilding, but she didn't get a pro card. And
Mhm.
another lady who was a friend of mine, she got a pro card also at that show. And you won in your class, but
Yep.
didn't get your pro card.
Yeah, and so I will say that was a bit of a source of confusion for me, because usually at these national shows, there's a pro card for class winners. And so I won my class 45 and I won my class in 40, and then I was sent to an overall twice where I lost in the overall twice. And it was very confusing for me because during between prejudging and finals, I went back and read the rules again because I thought me winning my class would meant that I got my pro card. When I went back and read the rules again, I guess I had been confused, and most of the girls backstage were confused as well. And it said that we would have to go to the overalls in the finals. Yeah.
Well, this is something we talked about. I do a lot of podcasts. It's called Muscle Talk Mondays. This was
Mhm,
shout out to my man Jeremy, aka the art female muscle. You should check out his stuff. I see
mhm.
link later. And he posted this where there was like this happened at the North Americans back last year. Two
Yep.
ladies had a pleasure interviewing. That's Hannah Hussein and Major Michelle Bogdan. They won in their class in women's bodybuilding, but didn't get their pro cards.
Right.
From what the saying of it, they're using NPC worldwide rules in which if you have to win in the overall to get the pro card. But with nationals, if you did nationals, you if all you got to do is make top two
Mhm.
in your class, and and just you get your especially in women's physique because women's bodybuilding is only you only there's no there's
Right.
only one pro card for each class in women's bodybuilding, but in physique, figure, and the others is top two for each
Yeah. I
class.
did. Yeah, I did the junior USA's twice in Charleston. Sandy was my judge there too. And in women's physique, top two got their cards, the class winners, and in figure, top three got their pro cards in those divisions. So it was a little confusing for me, I guess. I was a little sad between prejudging and finals when I figured out what was happening. But it's my fault. I should have read the rules a little better, I guess.
Well, sometimes the rules can be subjective. I know they'll change it. Like I said, I know two ladies who just also one lady had interviewed Conchetta Washington. She also got her pro card. I think it was the Junior Nationals. Also, lady Megan Russell. They both got their pro cards at that same show. Here, shout out to my man Lawrence. He says, "Yes, be respectful and mindful to Miss Chris and
Oh,
every athlete in the world. Thank you, brother.
thank
Appreciate
you,
that.
Lawrence.
One thing I was when folks was following her, there's something I found out about her, and and this is where it's interesting is that she used to be a cop.
I
So,
did. I did.
so
I was a cop in Georgia for a while, before deciding to go back to college. So I will say through two or three preps, I've been trying. I was trying to finish two master's degrees, and I just finished another one right before. I actually had to take a final when I came back from taking doing nationals to finish up everything. So I was going through classes as I was going through these preps, and I work full time, and I have a son and a husband, and so super busy all aspects of my life. But yes, being a police officer was amazing. It was a great career for me. It was so great. It was so fun. It was the best time of my life for sure. Um, yeah.
well, with my other guy, he says like I'm not much a fan for law and justice. I like anarchy and chaos. But I would tell you, Christina, you are a lovely police officer in your suit.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, your uniform is it color? I said, hey, calm down. I'm
That's
sorry.
fantastic.
I'm sorry, Chris, Christina. I have to deal with him on a daily basis. It's like a battle.
Gotcha.
So, folks, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into her social media for a bit. If you want to say you want to follow her, the links are in the description of the live. Check her out, support her, guys. You know the rules, and be respectful. So we're gonna jump in here in your social media for a little bit, and here you are. That's you and Marty
That's me and
together.
Marty. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
this is a lot of these pictures were during my first prep during COVID, but yeah, that's me and my dude. Um,
yeah,
summers in
yeah.
Arkansas are wonderful for anyone wanting to come down to the Ozarks. Um, it's been wonderful. This
Yeah.
was me getting ready for my second show. Um, so you can see I'm a pretty big gainer on top. A lot of shoulders, a lot of traps. I'm very fortunate in that aspect. The picture in the middle, that's one of my preps too, but this is where I started. The one with the little, that's when I was a little overweight. And then the one to the right was for my first show for the NPC Midwest. I was 3 weeks out in that picture.
Wow, he looks pretty good. I mean, like I said, this is the thing about bodybuilding. It's not just you change your life. It's changing habits that you should have, especially if you're like I gonna say I'm being overweight. Like one thing I had to change in my habits because I was taking my mom for a long time, and I just was pushing things to the side and worried about her. And this was at the St. Louis show where you won in your
Uh,
class in your
I
division.
won figure overall at this show for the NPC Midwest by Jack and Antitone. That was my very first show, and that was the one Tyler Mannion judged. And I won the overall in that one. So that was my very first show, starting off wonderfully. Um, it was a good show for sure.
Yeah,
If
I mean,
you have anybody in your audience that is ever thinking of doing the NPC Midwest shows, I highly suggest it with Jack and Ann. They're wonderful people.
well, I have a little personal beef with the Tones.
Oh no.
Recently, they had dropped Win Physique, a lovely lady who I interviewed a while back, Marika Jones, the last competitor to win her title at this show. And also, they dropped Women's Body from Omaha. So, even though, hey, you like them, that's fine. But me, I have a personal beef with them. So I'm
Yeah,
just going to
I
be,
get the beef for sure. I understand
yeah,
it. I feel like women's physique is starting to drop off from a lot of things. Just when I'm getting started, so I hope it doesn't disappear.
yeah. And here you are, well, legend. That is 10 time Miss Olympia,
What a
champion.
wonderful human being she was. This was at the Dallas Europa. This is when I was just kind of getting started with bodybuilding, and I met Iris at that show, and she was such a wonderful, nice woman. So super nice lady for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
Iris is great. And here you are, you're graduating, there's
That
your
was my master's in education. That was my first master's, and that's my son Reese, and he's amazing. He's 19, so he's all grown up. All the hard stuff's done now.
yeah, you
This
you did
was
a good
my yeah.
you did a good job.
Thank
You Marty
you.
raised a good young man. I mean, he be proud of you,
Raising
son,
good
because
human beings for sure. This picture right here in the middle was my first national show at Junior USA's in Charleston, and I've done that show twice already. So missed my pro card on that one as well, and that was just figure. Um,
Yeah, I'll
but
say I'm not gonna lie to you, Chris. You have an amazing body. I am gonna.
thank you.
Yeah, like I said, that's in
Um,
my prime. I must have heard smell, you ladies. You just
Thank
excited me.
you.
So
This was me the night before the NPC Midwest last year. This is where I won the overall in women's physique and in women's figure, and went to nationals 2 weeks later at the Junior USA's, where Sandy judged me again. Um,
wait, I
yeah,
got
that
it.
was my routine there. I came in fourth at this show in the overall. Um, Still an amazing. That was my first time ever going into physique. It was, but winning the overall in physique and MP and the NPC Midwest was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like I
And
said,
Brooke did this whole routine for me. She designed all of it. Um, an amazing coach for sure.
well, like I said, Brooke is a great person. I think who I've ladies who've known her, who I've interviewed, and told me that she's was a down to earth lady. I know Wednesdays I love to have her on here. Like just to talk to her. I think she just has a great look to her. I was hoping that she was going to win in 2022, but you know how it is.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Um, and she's such a hard worker, and she's my inspiration, and I make sure and tell her that all the time. That woman inspires me to be a better athlete every day. So I'm very fortunate to have her in my life. This is the last show up here. This is me and my son. We go to concerts together. We live in Arkansas, so we make sure and get to some of these shows in Oklahoma. Um, but yeah, he's big, and so this was my last show. This was at NPC USA Masters. Best, I mean, my conditioning was definitely the best it's ever been. Um, Brooke did a great job making sure I peaked properly. So pretty cool experience for sure. Um, so happy I got to try a master show. This was my first master show. So going against 20-year-olds is a little tough.
I know because like I said, one thing I learned, like it's different compared to when you're competing with somebody who's like much younger. They're, the skills, their skin's still like baby, like like
Yes.
soft like a baby. Never had to do with, like best way to say it, like wet behind the ears, breast smell like Similac. And
Yes.
and when it's I think with women who are much older, it's like you hit that muscle maturity.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm knowing some ladies they really hit your strides like closer to their 30s and their 40s, even their
Mhm.
50s. And Masters is really getting big. As you know, next year is the return of the Masters Olympia. They're going to have it in Tokyo. I know some ladies are going to be that show,
Yay.
and even I even met the lady who won the show last year. That's Rashada Boswell. Here we got here from my man Lawrence Perkins. Shout out to Lawrence. He says, "Chris, your story will inspire others, including myself. Shoot, that will change lives as well."
Oh, so
Also,
sweet. Thank you,
yeah,
Lawrence.
he's a great guy. He says, and beautiful physique, Miss Chris. Great routine. Your journey. Keep on being the best mother for your boys. Bless your husband as well, and may God keep you in life. Yeah, shout out to
Oh,
man
thank
Lawrence.
you
I,
so
I
much.
he's I call him. He's the female bodybuilding whisperer. He knows how to talk to you ladies. So
He does. He's doing a great job.
So
For
as you
sure.
know, you said you really get most of your gains to the upper body, and so that
Yes.
means that's your strength and your weakness is your legs. So what's the workout routine for you? Like, what's the thing really want you to work on? Like I said, you work on the most of your legs. What's your favorite and least favorite when you're working out?
Well, legs is definitely my least favorite, to be honest with you. It's not my favorite, but it's where I really have to push and kind of get past that thing in your mind that I don't like this because I have to, it's where I lack. Um, Back day and shoulder days are always my favorite because all my strength lies in the top. We even had to come down and reduce the amount of back days I was doing this year because I'm just such a hard gainer on top that we had to kind of come back on one of those days. So, two shoulder and chest days, one back day, and two leg days last season. This year, we're going back to a full 6 day routine. 2 back days, 2 chest and shoulders, and 2 leg days as well. So that's and Brooke designs all of my workouts for me. Everything is structured to suit what I need, down to the food and everything. Everything is taken care of for me so that I can just be stress free and successful um, when we start prep again this
Hmm.
year.
Yeah, because that's the tough part about the prep part. People don't understand, like you know guys who are fans of this sport who follow, because when we look at you when we see these big buff women on stage, but we don't understand what it took you to get there, and
Yeah.
also the work you got to put in, the time you got to put in, and we're looking at the presentation what we get. I
Hmm.
know there's a lot of work to this, and you feel like, what would you think you really need to get you a little bit over to the top?
I think that we're on the right track right now. Um, I think that me just starting to work with Brooke, we're kind of new to each other when in terms of training. Um, and as long as we keep shooting for what we're shooting for, we're on the right path. We just need a little bit more time. Um, so for me to be successful this year is to maybe fall in love with leg day. You know what I oh, it's just horrible though, but I really do try. And everything Brooke tells me to do, I do it without question. So for me, it's just staying the course, speaking it into existence. Um, this year, was for me, it was a real push. I came down probably about 30 pounds in my prep this year. Um, and we really pushed, and we were doing cardio until Thursday. Um, that I flew like Wednesday was my last day of cardio. I think we flew to California the next day. We were pushing 90 minutes of cardio a day, still lifting, me working full time as well. And I don't know if you know this, but as being an educator in a public school and a therapist, the way that you're uh, treated is through treats, especially around Thanksgiving. And oh my God, it was horrible. I just want to microwave my chicken, and you have to walk past the cookies and the fudge. And I was like, oh God, this is painful.
I know that's the tough part, because you
Yeah.
think about it, the diet's the one part that's really just, is really the toughest part about it, especially, just finished Thanksgiving, just it's been about a week ago. Then you
Mhm.
got Christmas coming up in another
Yeah.
couple of weeks. And then I know, everybody's like, I know y'all, when I was going to school, I remember we set the schools, the school teachers that set the little things, the cookies, and everybody did a potluck. I remember when I used to work at my old job. I used to work at this job for 13 years. I worked in textiles. And the
Hmm.
ladies used to bring their own food,
Oh
bring it home,
yes. Oh yes.
like last couple of years, they had somebody come in and do this stuff, but I loved it when the ladies bring something, because you know what, it'd be something nice. They knew how to. So I'm from the South, like Jerry yourself. I'm from North
Yeah.
Carolina, and some of these ladies know how to put their foot in something. My mom also
Yes.
often told me, don't eat everybody's cooking, but some people they know how to cook.
Yes, they do, and I suffered with that last week before I left to compete. There was food everywhere, but we stood our ground and we made it. So this year we're gonna try and do the same show over again. We're gonna try the MPC USA Masters again. I'm kind of torn between that and the show that's actually happening in Texas in 2 weeks. Doing that show next year. So we're kind of talking about what our next steps are in terms of competing next year at this point. But I'm already on back on my diet. We're already on track to be successful this year. So
Well, how you felt about doing North Americans? Because that's also a show, that's
and I've
has.
heard that show is there's so many people that compete in that show and that it is massive. And I think that kind of scares me a little bit. I like doing these smaller shows, and I will say Junior USA's has been smaller. The MPC Masters was small. And I feel like when it's small, it's a little less pressure, a little less stress. Um, I'm not opposed to doing the North Americans. I usually just kind of do my preps at the same time every year, and that show always falls out of the realm of my preps. I tend to compete later on in the year. So I mean, it's not out of the question for now. It's just I know that show is massive,
Yeah,
and that kind of scares me a little bit.
yeah, I interviewed a couple of ladies who got their pro cards just that week after, and one lady, she got a pro cards, and she got 3 pro cards, 2 of them in physique and 1 in figure.
Yeah.
2 classes in physique, and yeah, it's a big show. It's a Gary Udit show. He promotes quite a few other shows around
Yeah.
the country, and also I think Tanner Man also he might be there as a judge. Like I said, to me, he's still wet behind the ears, breath like Similac.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know everybody. Like I said, oh yeah, he's Tanner Man. Yeah. We know his grandfather, his father,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, it's about a process for you and finding what works for you because that's a tough
Yeah.
thing about being a bodybuilder. And also, as you know, you were at one point figure, and now you're switching to physique. You
Yeah.
see, especially as amateur, it's so much crossover. Because I remember one lady who I interviewed, she was in wellness, but got a
Hmm.
pro card in figure. I
Yeah.
know some ladies who got the pro cards in physique and women's bodybuilding. I
Yeah.
mean, do you think that, especially with the judges, like basically like Sandy Williamson, who's probably one of the top judges in the sport, you think that it should stick to the criteria where if you're a figure competitor, you are a figure, you're a physique
Yeah.
competitor, you're a physique, if you're wellness, bodybuilding, whatever, you should be in a division that fits
Yeah.
your physical criteria.
Yeah. And that's a pretty good point actually, but I know where you're going with it, and I think that, well, like for instance, at the show I just did an NPC USA Masters, there was women who did bodybuilding, physique, figure, like they did all, and everyone's just trying to hit it. Everyone's just trying to get the card, no matter what division it is. And at that point, you're just trying everything you got to like, and you'll do any division you need to do just to get that pro card. And I understand the hustle, and I understand competing across the levels just so that you can try and get that card. Um, and I mean, I understand what you're saying about like, the criteria and stuff. And if you're figure, you should be figure. And if you're physique, you should stay physique. But at that point, it's a hustle. And we're all just trying to get that card. If I had to do bikini that day, I would have done it just so I could have got the pro card. So, and I know it's probably it sounds desperate, but I mean, I entered 4 divisions for the NPC USA Masters, just trying to get there. It's a lot of hard work, and you really want it. And I think that that's what happens, and we just try to do everything we can across the board to try and hit it. And at that point, it's just yeah, I work so hard. I really want this. And so I get what the other ladies are doing by doing all the divisions. So I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like going fishing. You ever go fishing? You
Yeah.
go fishing. You throw the line out there. You have to
Yes.
fish it. And you wait, and you get that.
Yeah.
You get that. Yeah, I got it. I got it. But
Yeah.
sometimes the fish might break the line. It's
Yeah.
tough, and I
And I will
understand that.
say, like, even at the USA Masters, they didn't have enough bodybuilders to do the bodybuilding divisions. So they came to us in physique and were asking us to move into those spots to try and fill bodybuilding so that there could be pro cards given for those divisions as well. Um, but Brooke was not really great on that. She was not keen on that idea because I would have been flat by the time I got to figure. So we had a plan and we stuck to it. But I mean, I could have easily slid into those bodybuilding spots because they didn't have enough bodybuilding competitors. And a lot of women did it. They jumped right into it, not even knowing the posing or anything, and just took a shot. You
See,
know?
this is why I say like this. If you want, like I've known some ladies who say now they want to do bodybuilding, but here's the thing like this. Like again, if you want to get your pro card
Yeah.
and the opportunity there's for it, and like I said, there's not too much difference with the criteria between physique and women's bodybuilding anymore. You see
Yeah.
some women now look like they should be in women's bodybuilding, but sticking in physique. I would say it's smart. Like this is one of the things. One of my favorite, character is always Batman. And
Yeah.
Batman always prepared. He's prepared. He's always ready for we go situation. And one of his teachers, Ra's al Ghul, the demon's head, told him says, "Beware your surroundings of all time, your master way. Never give
Yeah.
sure footing for a killing blow. Be aware of what you get into, because I think it should be just in case when you in like if you can think about it, you might be in a division where there's like 30, 40 women in physique, and it might
Hmm.
be 10 or 12 in women's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And you got to weigh your option. There could be a chance I may not get my pro card in this spot, but it could be a chance I should give it my spot. And that's why I
Yeah.
think someone who made that decision to jump over here because they didn't want to miss that opportunity. I'm saying the others are
Yeah.
wanting because they feel like there's always that excuse like I don't want to get so big and pumped and be like that.
Yeah.
But it's not too far from it. Stop using
Yeah.
that excuse.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
A
you
lot
got
of the women that were competing in physique with me, a good handful of the women were in the bodybuilding divisions, and they were crossing over between the two. I mean, and it was they fit the part for both. So they did really well with that. I mean, those girls jumped right in and filled those spots, and I thought that was awesome. So I think that's great. Get it
yeah.
where you can get it is what I say.
Gary feeling like my man Vin Diesel said it in Fast and Furious. A win is a win, be it a
A
yard or a
win's a
mile.
win
Yeah.
by an inch or
Uh,
a mile.
yeah, into the mile. Here you go. This is from a man Lawrence says, I had a great Thanksgiving myself, but the best thing is family and friends that I'm thankful for and that all what matters because life is too short. Yeah, I can wish I could say anything. My family
Yeah.
went out of town. My sisters and my nephews went to visit my other niece, my oldest niece
Mm,
in Atlanta. So I was at home solo the first time. I mean,
yeah.
not since my mom passed, we ever been, separate like that. But I understand. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be begrudging of them.
Yeah.
But also, this is from my man Lawrence. Shout out to Lawrence. He says, "You have my support, George support, and people that follow you on your journey as well, Miss
Oh,
Christina." Thank you, Lawrence.
thank you,
Appreciate that.
Lawrence. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah. He says this. He says you're more than welcome. We
Such
appreciate because
such a
he
nice
he
man.
he
Thank you.
he is a great guy. We are friends on social media. So now, one thing about especially for you women, the expense, and you're a teacher,
Mhm.
and teachers don't get a lot of money.
We do
And
not.
yeah, as an amateur, there's more of a cost for you because you know what? You
Yeah.
have to not only the cost of travel to shows, you have to
Mhm.
maybe do maybe one or two divisions just so you to get your pro card.
Yeah.
Everything between coaches and everything else, and also your suits right
Yeah.
there. That's somebody's rent, their car
Yes.
note, mortgage. It's just a expensive sport,
Yes.
especially you have to bring a presentation of both being muscular and femininity, and that's a tough line to cross.
It is, and I mean, and when you ask for judges' feedback, they will include that into your feedback that, your hair was pretty and your makeup looked pretty, because at the end of the day, it's a beauty contest with muscles. And they still want you to look feminine but they still want you to look muscular at the same time. And so the expenses that go into that are are huge. The suit itself every year it costs me $1,200 to buy those suits. But and my suit maker's amazing, but I do like you got to learn how to cut those little corners. They'll do a Black Friday sale at Thanksgiving, so I'll buy my suit a year in advance just so I can get the 25% off. You know what I mean? And you got to figure out ways around that. And as an educator, I mean, I don't get paid much, so I'll save all year just to do these shows. It's not easy, but it's my passion, and I'm gonna keep going until we hit it. So I'm not done yet. Keep going.
Yeah, like I love quote movies because everybody knows me by now. I'm a big movie fan, and one of my favorite movies is the Rocky Balboa, the whole Rocky
Yeah,
movie. Like, and like especially in Rocky Balboa, we says like it's no matter how hard you think it hits, how hard you can take the hits and keep moving forward.
yeah,
And for you ladies, you have to do this as a passion because as you talk about bikini, as I call bikini and wellness, they're the TNA divisions. They're the divisions that everybody pay attention to.
gotcha.
But you women in bodybuilding, physique, figure even fitness, you really, really represent yourselves. It's tough, especially I know what society's thinking. Like, you got to think about it. You got a
Yeah.
19-year-old son, and you're up on stage, and and say, "Yo, man, your mom, she's up there." He's like,
Yes,
"Hey, hey, hey, hey,
yes,
hey, hey." You go out and fight, hey, 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 and your husband say,
yes,
"Hey, hey, hey, Marty, man, you're, But
yeah,
there's there other flip side to it. People saying like, "This chick trying to be a man. She trying to be, she got
yeah,
these muscles."
yeah,
And I think it's the issue with jealousy because you know what? Some people can't do what y'all men and women do. There's a lot of sacrifice to this sport.
yeah. I get that pretty regularly, believe it or not. Just there's a misconception that because of my muscles that I'm not, feminine, or, that I don't like dresses, and I get stereotyped, and it happens, and it's something that I can't control. I know that I'm a I'm a good athlete, and I'm a good competitor and a good mother and a good wife, and I think those are the important things. I know I people that criticize what I look like, that's outside of my circle of control, and I can't help that. but I can't help me, and that's the important part. Mm, I keep going, you know?
Yeah, you gotta live for you. Can't live for nobody else.
Yeah.
Because if people, like I said, this is basically, my favorite comedian, Bert Mac said, if people don't like who you are, fuck them. That's straight up. I'm gonna say it like that.
And
Because
it's
this,
perfect.
yeah, because this is a sport where it's a lot of people don't understand it because you know I've been following sport for a long time and
Yeah.
I'm fans of people. I follow like one person who I am a big fan of, and I think she's really changed sports, especially when bodybuilding, and that is Andrea
Oh, she's
Shaw.
amazing. She's what
Oh,
we all aspire to be.
I'm
She's
think
perfect.
she's like a fifth element. She is perfect. I like to pull this out, and I know you guys gonna hate it because I love doing this. A while back, a friend of mine, Eunice, she was at the Olympia last year. She got this issue for me. I love shorties because you know what? My other guy, like I said, is my other guy that says, if you're good at something, never do it for free. And you know what? This is my payment because me, making becoming friends with you ladies and getting knowledge from you. She took the time out.
Oh, that's amazing. Love
And
that.
I love this. This is why I do it. Like ladies are like Eunice, she sent me a birthday card because my birthday was a couple of weeks ago. It was like I'm 50 now.
Happy birthday.
you know, I have ladies send me stuff, and I appreciate when I make these friendships and learn things from you ladies. What what takes to be a woman in this sport,
Yep.
and people who don't understand that that's their problem. But like I said, we do have the guys who are maybe a little bit too much, Christina. There's guys like, there's an old small saying, say, well, you ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard. But
Yeah.
that's another thing. But, it's a lot to this. And the one thing is, it's often I ask you ladies after the show, what was that thing was calling you, Christina? That thing that was calling your
Yeah.
name. What was that? Your
I went
weakness.
yes, I went straight to so in Arkansas we don't have In-N-Out cheeseburgers. We don't have In-N-Outs here. So we were in Los Angeles. I had my husband drive me right to an In-N-Out and I had a double double and French fries and it was amazing. And about six Reese's Buttercups to follow. So that was I had those ready and waiting and we flew to Mexico the next day and spent a week over there right after the show. And tequila never tasted so good. It was perfect.
Again with the alcohol. I've never been a drinker. I'm like I've sipped. I've never been. I
Yeah.
remember one of my old jobs, and guys, you know me. One of my old jobs, I used to work in a gentleman's club, or as we
Mhm.
call it in the hood, the booty club.
Yeah.
And I tasted a little bit. I've never been a drinker. I never had a
Yeah.
taste for it. I
Yeah.
mean, but it's a lot to enjoy yourself to have that little, especially I know Brooke has in your plan, you have a little cheat meal and or basically it's a refeed.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing, especially when you're eating on your diet? What's the thing that you be craving for the most?
I think it's just I love sweets. I'm a sweets person, like cookies and chocolates, straight junk. Like I love just garbage. Like no lie, it's not even about fast food. It's just like the little Christmas tree Debbie cakes that come out every Christmas, and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff is my weakness. And we're back on track. I mean, I came back from Mexico this past weekend, and by Monday morning we were ready to rock. So that stuff kind of comes to an end. So I get like a week where I get to like enjoy all that stuff, and then it's over. So you know when I love junk, that's to be honest with you, just candy aisle garbage. That's it's my weakness.
I can understand you because I gotta be careful. I'm pre-diabetic. My mom, my
Yeah,
sisters, they got it. It's tough. I know my favorite thing. I like to get those little. I was out shopping. I got like a thing of cupcakes, chocolate
yeah,
chips in them, and I got a box of the little Debbie donut sticks. I love those. I
those
mean,
are great.
I think it tastes better in the box than doing it when you sell them individually. I don't know. They change the
Yeah,
formula of it.
yeah,
Yeah, sugar is both one of those
yes,
things that is, I think, a weakness to any bodybuilder. It's food is both a weapon and a tool for a bodybuilder. It's you just can't just eat anything
yeah,
because you know what, you need to eat clean. I know
yeah,
one thing is like I think a lot of bodybuilders they be hungry a lot because of the fact that you're eating so clean, you're burning so many calories.
Yeah.
that your
Yeah.
body just be urgent for, like you be like sometimes you be just yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and with Brooke's plan, we eat clean all the time. I do get pancakes a couple times a week, which is an amazing experience. I never thought I'd love pancakes so much, but for the most part, it's everything is vegetables and fruits and cream of rice and chicken and rice, and we stay to a very clean regimen the entire time. Um, and my body had a lot of issues processing junk food once the show was over. Um, it was painful almost to try to eat junk because we had been eating clean for so long. So it was only a week of doing that, and now we're back to business. And I will tell you, now that we're eating clean again, my body feels better. My joints are not aching as much. The heartburn is not so bad. So I actually appreciate getting back. I mean, to the clean stuff for sure.
Yeah, I try to eat a little healthy because one point, like I said, when I was taking my mom, I was almost 500 pounds, and I changed somewhat my diet. I do eat still the junk every now and then, but not too
Yeah.
much. It's every now and then. I think one time I remember me and my sister and my oldest nephew were out, which is Chinese buffet place, and I don't do it all the time, but I just love we get the little chicken, the rice, and the din, and just you just. But yeah, that's part of this, of developing your body. You need the right foods to help you
Yep.
grow. I can understand. Like I have issues myself. Like I have a pacemaker, have almost 10 years.
Hmm.
Um, the stuff for years of working most of my life since I was 12 years old. The body is one thing that you need to take care of, especially as a bodybuilder. Here we got a
Yes.
comment from my man Lawrence. Shout out to man Lawrence again. It says, I believe you will get your pro card real soon as well. Keep focusing on your life, your family, your accomplishments. Speaks about you and your spirit, speaks volumes about yourself. Thank you,
Oh,
Lawrence.
thank you so much.
You
I'm
got a
hoping
fan.
I'm hoping this year's my year. We're gonna go for it again.
Yeah, like I said, this is a process about bodybuilding.
Yes.
You have to be, especially everything has to come together.
Hmm.
Your prep, your recovery, your rest, your diet, your workout, and you work with someone like Brooke. That's pretty good. Is there anybody in this sport other, like I see, saw Andrea, who you follow? Did you catch the Olympia last
Oh
month?
yes, I watch the Olympia every year. And I mean, Brooke was always my favorite, of course. But like Natalie Coelho, I mean, that's a goal for every physique girl. Is she looks amazing, and Sarah too. And you know, and it's hard because as an amateur, you want to compare yourselves to these other women. But we forget that these women have been in the game for so long, and they are the top level athletes. And as amateurs, that's what we're comparing ourselves to, and that gets pretty tough. But Natalie Coelho and Brooke and Sarah, those are you know all physique girl front runners, for all of us physique girls for sure. And in figure, I mean, it was Jessica. What was her name?
Reyes Padilla.
Oh, she was another one that I was. That was who I wanted to look like from the beginning. That was my goal from the beginning because she was a bigger girl than Sydney was, and so there was hope for us bigger girls in figure when you saw Jessica. But my posing in figure is garbage. I try. I really try, and I don't feel comfortable doing it. I am not I don't feel like flowy, or I just feel like a goober on heels. So I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore.
I, Many times, the ladies like yourself who transition from figure to physique, because the cleat heel thing. I mean, yeah, one lady told me like, what she should do was sometimes because her feet was wide, she should take her air dryer and switch it
Yeah, yeah,
so it can fit better. And that's tough. Like the higher heel divisions, figure health,
yeah.
fitness, bikini and wellness. I know somebody say, George, I love that the fact I'm doing my bare feet. I just got tired of those heels.
It's
I need.
wonderful. It's wonderful to be on bare feet. I can't tell you how much I love being on the bare feet. The heels are tough. I mean, you do have to the way you have to rotate your body, you have to show your muscles, you have to flex at the same time being in the high heels. All of that has to take place at the same time, and I don't think people know how really hard that is to do. Especially in the back pose, where I've struggled the most in figure was my back pose. And if you watch the Olympia and you see Sydney, she gets right into it, right? It flows. And for me, I have to take steps to even get to where I look kind of normal in the heels and in the back pose. It is a very hard thing to do. And I still haven't mastered it yet. And this was my fourth year in figure and I still couldn't figure it out. I tried. I really did. I just could not do it.
I
Mm-mm.
remember I talked to a lady who got a pro card in figure a while back. She said she loves her heels. She's walked on a treadmill in her
Yeah.
heels.
Yeah.
You just have to have a natural preposition for that
Yeah.
style. I
Yeah.
think everybody, has the different ways how to do it. I've seen ladies who stumbled a little bit. I've seen ladies who move like they were, Grace Kelly, just gliding across the stage.
Yes.
It's just all depending on you as a competitor or how well you want to
Yeah.
go.
And everybody watches the Olympia and they see Sydney, and that's what we all set our goals for the year. You watch Sydney Guion and with the way she poses, and you say, "That's what I have to do this year," because that's what they're looking for this year for figure. We all look up to the Olympia because that's where it sets the standards for the year. Um, and you have to have a flow. You have to be feminine and smooth, and that's she's a natural, and I just don't think a lot of us have that. I know I don't, for sure. I just
Yeah.
don't have it.
Yeah. Well, she knows she retired. I mean, she could have been. I mean, one point she said she's thinking about cracking 10, tying with Iris, but then I think because she has she's married, she wants to settle
Yeah.
down. She's promoting shows. She got a show in Georgia. She's with Whitney Jones and Andrea Shaw with Triple O
Mhm.
Dynasty. They're coming up, first of next year. That's when they announced that they're gonna be $9,000 for figure. But next year, I think it's not too much a good year for women's physique. Um,
Yes.
just saw a lady who interviewed a while back, Yvonne Pennington, who won. She's the last woman to won for physique at the Legions Pro. Another lady who I interviewed, Marika Jones, she was the last competitor because that's why I have an issue with the tones.
Yeah.
She's the last competitor to earn her pro card, and also the Triple O is dropping women's physique. But still, you
Yeah.
have more shows compared to women's bodybuilding. I know Natalie, as you mentioned, Natalie Cuejo. Don't get such a young her. I mean, she's been on in a couple of live streams before, and she's commented on myself. I respect her physique, but I'm not a fan of what she does. Doing
Gotcha.
back to back shows. Like, I mean, one time she was the champion, still doing shows. I know it's about competition, yeah, the best, but still, when you're already top of the heap, why are you getting in the way of somebody else who want to climb up there? I'm saying you want to take
Yeah.
out the numbers. Same thing with Jessica Reyes Padilla. I respect their lady's physique. I respect their passion, but still, get out of the way. Let somebody get the opportunity.
I know that that's a hot topic of conversation right now is when someone's Olympia qualified and then they continue to do shows. I saw an article on it on Instagram actually yesterday. Um, a women's physique competitor, and I don't remember her name, but she's gorgeous, and she came out and said something about that too, about girls who are Olympia qualified, who at the pro level keep doing all the pro shows and kind of knocking everybody, kind of taking that space away from others. And I know that's a hot topic of conversation these days, for sure. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing is, I think some people understand that it's about competition. You want to be the best,
yeah,
but at the same time, you want the opportunity.
yeah,
Because we become a pro, and a lot of people say that the Olympia is a show you want. It used to be the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, and I like I said, I grew up watching like like you myself.
mhm,
We watch the movies. We watch
yeah,
Arnold. We watch the Terminator, the Planet of the Arnold. But his stance on women in bodybuilding, just I just don't like when he pushed out women's bodybuilding. When Ashley
yes,
Irish won the last Miss International, he pushed out, physique. And now he even pushed out figure. Only thing
mhm,
left is over there is the TNA divisions and fitness.
yep,
But like I said, y'all ladies deserve the opportunity to be on stage just like any competitor. Everybody's gonna look at one thing is like I said about the men's division. It's a not as expensive compared to the women's because all the guys gotta do is put on tanning and banana hammocks and board shorts. You know, But you ladies, you work just as hard, not as hard as men and women are always going to be different, especially when it comes to strength, physicality, and everything else. But you women deserve just as much recognition as they do. I
Oh,
mean,
thank you.
and that's why I do this content because you know what, being a fan of the sport and talking about you ladies, doing interviews and learning stuff that people may not understand. I mean, there's so much that's involved, and that's why like there's not many. There's a guy I say look, you want to check it out. He is David Bryan. He does content on women's bodybuilding, like myself.
Mm,
There's a female bodybuilding channel. They're probably the top dogs right there. There's Ryan Johnson. I had an interview a while back. He with DD on the spot. A couple others, who we do talk about you ladies, but no one really want to pay attention because it's just not what they want to see women as. Bikini
yeah.
wellness because it fits those criteria. But even if you look at those women now, how it has evolved over
Yes,
time.
definitely. It's definitely evolving. Um, and they all look beautiful. It's amazing to see women in this sport. Um, all of us are, and even backstage, it's camaraderie. We were all making friends and hugging each other and wishing each other the best, and because we all go through it, we're all going through it. And I don't think there's anything else I'd rather do. So I'm pretty happy with being, an athlete in the NPC. I'm ready to move up. I'm ready for my card, and gonna keep trying till I get there for sure.
Well, we wish you best luck on that because, like I said, it's tough.
It is tough.
There's a lot of work you got to put into it.
Yeah,
This sport, as I've often said this, it is physically, emotionally, mentally, financially draining.
it is.
And you really, there's so much sacrifices to it. And
Yep.
if you're willing to take those sacrifices, you should have that right to step on the big stage with people like Sarah or
Yeah.
Brooke, or before you be on the same show with your
Yeah.
coach. You're like, go ahead, I want to get my shot. Coach, you got step aside.
Oh, she's
But
amazing. We just, and she doesn't live too far from me, which is amazing. And we just did an amazing photo shoot with HD Physiques
ooh,
in October. And I know he's working on that footage now to get everything ready. And I did a photo shoot with Brooke and a couple other athletes, and it was amazing. It was a great experience to be able to pose next to her and do photos. It was awesome.
with HC's physique, and that's I've heard it. I've watched your content for a long time. Or there's other sites, as I call them. Excuse my language, guys. We call them the beat the meat websites. That's a much
Yeah.
preferred term. But it's great. And I interviewed a guy a while back. If you ever heard of him, Sean Nelson, and I asked Sean, who would you love to photograph? He said he would love to do a photo shoot with Brooke, but Brooke signed with HD. So
Mhm.
maybe someday, whenever they break up, he would love to do a photo shoot with her. So
Well, if you
one
ever
thing,
get a chance, go check out the photo shoot. Some of the photos are already up on HD Physiques of me and Brooke, and it was awesome.
don't tempt me for a good time, Christina. Don't tempt me because the other guy he just say he's excited just because it
Yeah.
completes him when he wants you ladies. And he wants to say to you this, Christina, he says, you are beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thanks,
You,
George.
no, it's not me. I think
Oh,
you are
that's not
beautiful,
you.
but
That's right.
that's the other guy. I don't know why he just say that. I gotta take care of him. So, we got here from a man, Dylan McCain. He says, Christina, you rock. I mean, you got
Oh,
some
thank you,
fans.
Dylan.
And like I said,
Appreciate you.
the cost with this, you're not a sponsored athlete. That's the one thing I think a lot of
Yeah.
you ladies can use. Sponsorship does help cut the cost of
Yes.
from your training. You're paying your trainers, your
Yeah.
your travel expenses. I would say this: there's guys out there who are fans of these ladies. Reach out to these ladies. They can use sponsorship, but don't be this guy like, hey, Christina, I know you used to be a cop. You still got your
Yeah.
belly club. No, no, no. You
Don't
go
be
like
that
this.
guy.
Don't be that guy. You know what I just said? Mrs. Sutton, we like
Yes.
your passion, your story of how you were in law enforcement. Now you're
Yeah.
working with children.
Yes.
This is what really we want to see for a person. So we have a product that I don't know if you like it. If it's something you might not like, I understand. But if you feel like it's something that will help you in your process and you would like to be an ambassador for a company, we'd like to represent you and you represent us. So just let us know and we'll sign everything. We'll take care of you and then you have a great future.
Wonderful. Thank you, George.
Yeah, that's the guy who's the fine. Not me. But if I could, I would love to do that because, like I said, I'm broke. I got two bad knees like Stone Cold
Yeah.
Steve Austin. I got a car I got to get out of the shop. Finally, the guy, told my sister he's done with it. I hope it can run. But I would love to do something like that if I had the means and the ways. But I know there's people out there who do. But the thing is, a lot of people want to say because bodybuilding is not a very mainstream sport.
Right.
And it's always a thing about steroids like that. But then there's more sports. The mainstream sports have them like football, basketball, baseball, boxing. I used to do some content on MMA, mixed martial arts. And I've seen and heard. Like I saw a picture you had. Is your Alsanya when he last fought? Not a big fan
Hmm.
of his, but there's been fighters that have been busted for use of it. But it's so easy to look at bodybuilding and to point at the finger at that compared to other sports because there are more mainstream.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a pretty hot topic of conversation,
Yeah.
and some people do it, some people don't,
Hmm.
you know.
Well, I've
It's
Well, I've interviewed some natural competitors. That's a different look compared to more enhanced. But it's tougher to build muscle naturally as it is to build it other ways. But if you are determined about what you want to do in this sport,
Mhm.
if you are certain, if you have a passion for it, you should do it. You shouldn't have to worry about what other people got to say because that's their problem. And
Exactly.
if they're not willing to sit down and understand what's involved in this and see what like I said, I do content in sport. I'm a fan of the sport. I'm a fan of you ladies. You know, I admit my time again. I'm a person small. You ladies excite me, but when I get to talk with someone like you, like this, you will have your boots on the ground, 10 toes down. You're still in the trenches, still trying to climb up there to get into the top spot in the
Yes,
sport.
yes.
It's a good perspective that people need to learn.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hustle, and I will tell you that my year, like half of my year is completely gone once we go into prep. Everybody has to stand aside. I don't get to do anything extra. I don't get to go to concerts or picnics, and I shut my life down half of the year, basically go into hiding. I mean, just to come out and do this thing that we can do, and I love it. But it's a lot of sacrifice, but it's an amazing experience, and I love being a part of it. So it's tough, but it's amazing to me. Every year that the package you're delivering can change. You could look completely different than the year before. I mean, it's sky's the limit. Like I love it for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I know, ladies. You pretty much have to live almost like a nun when you're a
Yeah,
bodybuilder.
exactly.
A lot of people don't. People got to understand that there's some like, especially like friends and families. It
Yeah,
changes. They may not
yeah.
understand it. Like you're other than Marty and your boy. What about the rest of your family? Do they support you?
Yes, everybody's supportive. I do get a little bit of kickback, like especially when you go to like family dinners on Sunday, they want you to eat the food. I'm like, y'all know I don't do that. I've been bringing my food for 4 years to all of our functions, and there's a little bit of kickback sometimes. Oh, just this once, and you'll be fine just this once. And I'm like, you no, the goal is here. I have a goal, and so they've gotten a lot better with that. I will say, and they're very supportive of me and very supportive of my sport. And all my friends know not to invite me to stuff. Once I start prep, I mean, I just saw some friends last night that I hadn't seen in 4 months because of the show. So everyone knows and everyone still loves me, which is amazing. I appreciate it completely, even though I can't be available half the year. So it's pretty tough.
Yeah, let's think about it. That's a sacrifice for. I've talked to
Mhm.
ladies that they lost friendships, family don't
Oh
talk to them
yeah.
as much because there's so much involved in this. And if you're
Yes.
dedicated to something, sometimes you put those things that you usually used to do, like go and have a big slap of turkey with some dressing and a piece of
Yeah.
sweet potato pie on the side. We do sweet potato pie. We do pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
You know, you know, and because you want to come in your best shape, you don't want to eat something that might hurt you
Right.
but that's because it tastes good. Sometimes, CG Fletchers are like this. You don't eat for the taste, motherfucker. You eat because it's good for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know.
There's nothing about the food that I eat that is about taste. It's about fuel. It's about function. There's nothing in my diet that you're like, oh, that's delicious. It's just to build. That's all it is, and that's all I see food as is just a tool to help me
Yeah.
get to where I'm going.
It's that to this essential. So, folks, this is a great lady. And said again, if you're interested in following her, Her links in the description of this live stream. Guys, you know my rules. I don't want to hear Marty beating some guy out in the middle of the street about sending something to his wife. I don't want to hear some kicking some guy in the head because that's his mama. Because it's one thing you got to think about it. Like a boy's best friend is his mother, and my mother was mine. And you want to, you always want to support her what she does. But I would say like this: I hope you all the best in what you're going to do
Thank
because
you.
this is a tough sport. And I said again, there's so much sacrifice to it. The money, the time, the investment into it, and you're not guaranteed that you may be a pro. So
Right.
like I said again, it takes some ladies years. I know ladies who stepped away from it, like a lady who I'm friends with. She was a pro 20 years ago, and she
Yep.
came back after she had a family and her kids, and she's a
Mm.
great lady named Melanie Horton, great physique. We call her Debbie Diamond. She has an amazing body, especially when almost 60. You
Yeah.
know, I would say this. I would say I wish you all the best in your
Thank
fortune
you.
in saying this sport. Best of luck to you. I appreciate you taking time out here to talk with me.
Yes, I was
Um,
happy to be here today. Thank you.
so do you have anybody want to shout out before we let you go?
Just a big shout out to, everybody who's a fan of women's physique, women's bodybuilding, and we appreciate the support. And thank you so much for supporting us and loving us and letting us do what we do. So big shout out to all you guys.
Well, anytime with much every thank you. And then you guys know my favorite movie, my favorite movie trilogy is the Chris Nolan Batman Begins. Love Christian Bale's Batman.
Yeah.
At the end of it, of Batman Begins, when Jim Gordon said to Batman, says, I never got a chance to thank you. And Batman turned around and says, you never have to. That's why I do this content, because you ladies need a voice. I will, like I said, honestly, like I said, I would love to have Andrea Shaw in here. I love her. She's my girlfriend. I love
She's
to have,
amazing.
she's amazing. I would love to have talk to anybody, but I enjoy talking to ladies like yourself. So again, you have your boots on the ground, 10 toes down, and you are passionate and you love this sport. This is what bodybuilding needs, women like you who have a passion for this. A lot of these competitors get in here, especially young competitors, they want everything hot, ready, and fresh. It doesn't work like that.
Yep.
It takes
That
time,
does
it takes
not.
work. There's no easy way to get to anywhere. Anything worth having, you have to work for it. Here, we have my man Dylan McCain says, Christmas wish you much luck. Thank you,
Yes,
brother.
thank you.
Also, he says you have a fans in Florida.
Oh, so sweet. Thank you.
Florida is a mecca for bodybuilding. A lot of ladies
Yes.
have done interviews, lived that. Great, a lot of shows are there. Maybe in the future I'd love to go to. I remember my first show I went to was Savannah, that's in Georgia. I'm planning on going to another show. I got my niece; she lives in Atlanta, Linda Mary Atlanta Pro. Or I'm thinking about that now. They announced they're going to have Texas Pro
Yes.
women's bodybuilding. I might maybe push and say, let me shoot for Texas. I'm
Well, I
thinking about
wish
that.
you all the best in getting there.
Well, thank you. I hope I can. Like I said, So, folks, as I said again, we like to thank the lovely Mrs. Christina Sutton here. Also, shout out to our man Lawrence Perkins, Dylan McKay for coming through. And we watch this video, like, comment, subscribe. Support these ladies. These not just the ladies. Also, I've done coming to you guys too. Support these men and women in the sport of bodybuilding. This is a tough sport. There's a lot of sacrifices to put into it, a lot of time put into it, a lot of money put into it. If you're someone who's interested in sponsoring an athlete, you don't want nothing in return to see them get there to their goals. Reach out with genuine interest, but don't be that weird guy. I don't want, don't be, like I said, I say this, you get more with a silk glove than an iron fist. And I know what you're doing with that iron fist.
I
Uh,
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
well, I appreciate you and thank you for the time and best of luck. And so hug your boy and slap Marty.
I will. It was good talking to you. Bye,
You
everybody.
bye bye. Have a good day.
You
So, folks, this is
too.
man all the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Like, don't like, subscribe. Have a good afternoon, good night, good luck, and also Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, whatever else.
Merry Christmas, everybody.